Michael, did you have anything like that on your area, or did you have it
Not at all,
to
man.
yourself?
It was just me. They left me alone, man.
Because you're
I did
mean?
the
Is that
only.
why?
Sorry, say
You
what?
intimidated them. You're mean. You kept them
No, I
away
didn't
from
even have to do that, man. I'm not above that, but I didn't have to do it. The only ones that parked beside me was I mean, I hadn't been to that lake in 2 years.
Wow.
And the last time I was there, I was flipping a 1 ounce weight, man, and all that's out of water there, So I went looking on I went looking up on the north end last Saturday, and I never got a bite. And where I generally fish up there, I couldn't even get a bite, man. So the next Sunday, I came home that night, fried up some striper, and the next Sunday morning I got up and went, and I picked out two places, and on my way there I changed my mind and decided to go to the other one, and I went, and man, I'm running around looking for brim beds and what have you, throwing a buzz bait, and I was wanting to catch the last of the shade across the bay there. So I start trucking across there. I got my side scan on. I saw the biggest school of fish I've seen in at least 15 years, man. And I just I thought they were carp, like the Kentucky Lake, man. I thought the carp done invaded it. And I couldn't believe they were bass. I just couldn't believe it. So I just said, I'll just go do my thing, and I'll come back, make a whole loop around the place so I can see it. Come back, around noon or so and try it. Before I got there, a boat pulls up, and I watched them catch every bit of 50 fish off that spot, man.
Golly.
They had tripled 3 times, and every time it's like a stripe on my back, man. I'm saying, leave them there, man, leave them there. So, man, I found another little spot, and I caught a 6-pounder and some little ones off it. When them dudes took off, I threw 3 casts, man. I threw 3 casts and went loaded up and came home, man. And I got home early. I'm a daylight to dark guy. And I got home early. My wife said, "What, did it suck that bad?" I told her, "No, man. It's on."
I'm on the juice.
It's on, man.
Go
It's
ahead and put a
unbelievable.
steak on for tonight, sweetheart.
Yeah, man.
I'll be home for lunch Saturday.
Yeah. It was it's unreal. It's like Falcon Lake back in the day where you could just sit on a spot and just, till your arm hurts. It was just like that, man.
Well, let's go through your day ones. Michael, we can start with you. I listened to you guys on the weigh-in live stream from Bass, but it was a little bit choppy, so I missed some of it. But it sounded like it started fast and furious for you on day one, Michael. Kind of go through what was going down when you got out there Saturday morning.
Well, man, I already knew where I was going to fish and all. Man, I knew what I was going to throw. So I just got out there, and I didn't turn my electronics on because I didn't want to, those big ones feel that, man. And I didn't want to. So dude, it's stupid, man. I just threw a 6XD up there, and you wind it, and there's I found 2 little. That's what I did Friday. I graphed the spot 100 times to find out where the juice was, and it's between 2 trees. I had a tree between me and I'll get to that tree later, but between me and the spot, I had a tree, whichever way I was going to cast. But man, if I could make the right cast, I'd catch a big one. If I made a bad cast, I'd catch a little one. That's how good it was. And I had my limit at 7. Started at 6:30. I had a limit at 7. I had in my limit, I had at one point I threw 4 casts and caught 6 fish. I was doubling up on the plug, man. And I've never done that before in my life. It happened 3 times total.
You run a GoPro there, Mr. Cates?
I wish I did, man.
I wish you did. Although, too. God,
there's a lot of other stuff that it's not too flattering that goes on in my boat, though. Especially on tournament day, man. I hook a lot of stuff, man.
And Clifton Allen is correcting me in the comments. He says he goes by Cates, not Michael. Is that right? Do I need to start saying?
They're both my name, man. Pick one.
All right. I don't want to disrespect here.
Oh, no. Man.
They're also calling you the high stepper. Where's that coming from?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from, to be honest. But I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
Be dragging it. I'll feel every rock, boom, 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 and then you'll feel the bite.
I like that. I trust that more than treble hooks myself.
Yeah,
I get way too scared on treble hooks.
Yeah,
brave man, Mr. Cates, brave man.
I know it.
Well, man, I did some dragging too after a while, and that's a good way to get them. That's my favorite way to get them. But man, for whatever reason, a bigger fish would bite the crankbait, man. Just I'd have to catch 15 to get a good one instead of 3. That's the way it seemed.
Just catch 2 or 3 at a time. No big deal. You can get
It's
15
silly, man.
quick.
At one time, dude, I had about it was a 4-pounder, and he jumped and he had the back hook. So I'm reeling him in, and he tries to dive, so I just push my button and let him go. And
he took
when
it down
he
and caught
turned
him.
around, I go pick up my rod, and it feels heavy, man. I said, that little sucker can't fight that hard. There was a 7-pounder on the other hook, man. And I couldn't lift it up far enough to get my net under it, man. And he turned and took off and straightened out the hook, man, all the way straight, man.
Hey. Can you do that? Any TDs watching right now? Can you leave a 4-pounder hook so he can run it back down to get the 7s to bite? Is that? I don't know if that's addressed in the rules or not.
Playing chess, not checkers over here, Ryan.
Yeah, dadgum. Them Texas boys. Yeah. Cutting tails, 4-pound bait delivery. Y'all got it all out there. Oh, me. I hadn't even thought of that yet. Dang.
So you said you got on them fast early, Michael, obviously limit by 7.
Mm-hmm.
How many inches did you have with that initial limit right away?
I didn't even count, man. It was too fast to count, dude, but it was over 90,
Within 30 minutes.
Within 30 minutes. Hey, I quit. Dude, I quit. I got off of them at 9, man. And what happened was I caught a 22-incher. I threw a worm and drug it across there. I caught a 22 something, and I said, all right, I'm gonna lay off. I sent it in, and it got DQ'd, man. It was just I just messed up, and that was bothering me. I was at 106 at that time, man. When I set
That's
my
usually
limit,
when I get real pissed too. I'm like, I've only got 106,
dude. And I wasn't going to fish anymore. I was just sitting there guarding it, And man, I picked up a plum worm, and I went out a little bit deeper and drug it through the trees. And I'll be damned if I didn't catch another 22 to replace it with, man. That's what kind of day it was.
At that point, did you really quit fishing?
Yeah, I did. Man, those dudes came up and parked on it, so I acted like I was hung up and went over there and to block them. I just
Nice. Yeah.
One little spot, man, that I didn't want. But dude, I think we all could have fished there, man. I don't know. I know it's not an infinite amount, but it was silly, man.
Well, it's good that you kept it to yourself and left everybody else with Joe.
I wanted to go back to day 1 and ask you, number 1, the story of your big fish of the day, 24-incher giant.
That's the only. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, then also the question I know people are going to ask at some point is, did live scope play? I see the handle right there under the board. So tell us the story of that fish, and did you rely on the scope at all?
Well, at that point, I don't even think I had it on, man. If I remember right, that fish. Well, look, man, I lost. This is going to sound crazy to you, man. I was catching them on 6XD. And after I caught, that's the fish right there is the only one that rolled over and let me. Those fish are wild in that lake, man. And that's the only one that laid on its side and let me have an easy time measuring it and all that. The rest of them, man, were just wild. After I caught that fish, I caught it on 6XD, man. After I caught that fish, I hooked one that was, it's the biggest fish I've caught in a couple of years for sure. It was huge. I don't like saying it was a 10-pounder, but it was a 10-pounder, man. And I'd already
normally
lost
do
one.
this, but I'm going to tonight.
It was huge, dude. It was that deep, man. That deep. Anyway,
tall.
So I moved. I had a tree between me and in order to get my bait deep enough, I had to be way back off, And I had a tree between me and the fish, and I lost one in it. So I went and when I tried to go get my bait unhung, I stuck my boat on top of that tree, and I was still trying to hit that little steep spot, and I would have to stick my rod in the water to get it deep enough in that length of time, to get it down. Dude, and I hooked that one, man, and it came and it jumped, and the bait was buried in its mouth, so I wasn't worried about losing it. And it came. I was 10 feet to the other side of the tree. It dives under the boat. I pushed the button, and I thought I was home free. I got my rod around, and the damn thing went and got in that tree and broke me off, man, behind me. And that was how I lost 3. Probably, dude, the 3 I lost in that tree were probably closer to 30 than they were 20 added up, man. It was unreal, man. You just can't get those big. When they get that big, man, they go where they want to, man, especially 12-pound line, you know.
How many plugs did you go through, and how many times did you have to change the hooks?
Well, I tell you what, dude. After I lost that first plug, you know, that would have devastated me on a regular day, you know. But I was catching them every cast. I put on a chartreuse blueback one that I took out of the package the night before, and I thought I put hooks on it, but I didn't. I don't know what I was doing, man.
Fished
So I
for the
grabbed
first 2 hours without any hooks on.
Yeah, I threw it. Hey, I threw it out there in 3 casts in a row. I lose a 4 or 5 pounder, man. And I'm saying, what the hell? I had hooks on it, but it was the other ones. So I dug through there and found another one that I changed the hooks on. So it didn't matter what color, man. You know, they bit them all. Just that's what I caught them on the second day. Oh, I put hooks on the good bait the second day. You know.
Going into day 2, either one of you can start first. I mean, you look at the leaderboard, the top 20 had 90 inches. I know, Michael, you were up there dang near 110 inches. Joe, you were at 99. Did y'all feel safe and comfortable knowing what this lake was pushing out?
Nope.
I did, man.
I didn't. There was no way. No.
Dude, if any one of y'all would have saw what I saw when they shined the scope across there, you'd have felt comfortable.
You were also by yourself.
I did.
Yeah, I was. But hell, we all could have went. Man, it was just the most unreal thing I've ever seen, man.
I told you
what. I tell you what, though, I had 0 fish at 10:30 the next morning. I was not comfortable then. I thought I jinxed it, man.
Really?
I'd caught 2 drum, 2 sand bass, and a channel cat's all I had at 10:30, man.
What happened? I mean, what do you think the difference was?
The gizzard,
from biting?
They weren't on top of the hump, man. There was still fish in the trees, but I couldn't make them bite. There was nothing on top of the hump feeding, you know.
They were waiting.
So yeah, man. So I went, I grabbed a buzz bait and started hauling down the bank, man, trying to get a limit. I snuck past my buddy, and he was at the back of this drain, man, and that's where all the fish were. I called from 10:30 to 11:30. I think I took 18 pictures and got my limit. Caught 18 fish in an hour. It's almost every cast, man. Well, then that limit was 92 or 90 or whatever, and then I went back and sat on the spot, and it was every cast from then till time to go, man.
So they finally moved back up on that hump later on?
Yeah, they were there, man. I could see everything. I mean, it's just like the shad moved up. They were down on the bottom, which is even better, you know, but it was just, they were there, man.
Long weekend of dragging out 100-inch limits and losing 100 more. They got to be beat. Well done, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations. That's crazy. I mean, seeing, you know, we've seen it a couple times, people going over 200 inches in a tournament, going over 210 and whatnot. That's a lot. I feel like that's a whole new level. So congrats and hats off to the new Possum King.
Possum Kings. There we go.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Unbelievable show, Ryan.